Now we're going to look at relationship fields in Salesforce. Since there are multiple tables and objects, you can have relationship between two objects in different ways, or up to three objects. One is a simple lookup, which is a one-to-one. Another one is a master detail, where you have, say, master records and then child records. An example can be account and contacts, or it can also be a lookup many to many. I mean, it can be a many to many means like account. One account can have multiple products, and multiple products could be related to multiple accounts, right? So for that you have accounts and products, and you have an intersection table. So let's take a quick look at what this means. So let me explain here. Now suppose we have account and we have related multiple contacts. Now this is a one-to-many relationship. Okay, now this can be made as a master detail also, where account, or it can be a one-on-one lookup also. So these are the, it works two ways. Okay, you can have this as a one-on-one lookup, or it can also be a master detail. Or let me show you in Word. Like, say for example, you can have like, say this is accounts, and you will have another which will have contacts, correct? So this will be contact 1, this can be contact 1, contact 2, so this can be a one-to-many. Say this can be a one-to-many. Alright, this is a example of a master detail. Okay, so now this can be, or it can be a lookup which is one-to-one. Like, say for one account you can have a single contact lookup. So in the contact you can add, so this is the two ways it can represent master detail. The difference is in master detail, if parent record is deleted, all child records will get deleted. Okay, in lookup this is not the case, right? So this is the basic difference between a master detail and a lookup. It's a basic difference. Okay, the next kind of relationship is a many to many. Let's look at a many to many. Like, say my account, let's take the same example. My account can have, or say also there is a product table, correct? Now one account can have multiple products, right? So let's create one more box here. One account can have multiple many to many, so that's how it works. So let's say ACC1 is Nokia, ACC2 is Nokia, ACC1 is also associated with Samsung. Samsung could be also be associated with ACC3. So here there is a two-way relationship. So account and products both will be master, to this child table, which will be called account product. So that's what I'm trying to drive at. What is a master detail? So this is a many to many, whereas the first one we saw example is account contact. So now this can be also be for standard objects and custom objects, but the only rule is standard objects can be only parent. Standard objects can never be child objects of custom objects. Okay, so whatever relationship you have, you should see that your standard object is the master. Let's look at how this master detail relationship works. Okay, so let's head back to the application, sorry, this one, and go back and create another object called as student marks. So I have one record here. So I'm going to head out over here and create a student marks 2 object. So let me go here and again, so we have to create objects, create new student object, and we're going to call it student marks 2. Okay, so everything is the same way. So I'm going to continue this. I'm going to put an S here, and then we select allow reports, activities, failed history, allow in chatter groups, allow search, and we say save. So we are creating the student marks object, and it contains 2 fields. It will contain a subject, let's say subject, and say English, maths, history, English, maths, and science. Something English, maths, and biology. That's it. 3 subjects. Okay, so we test 3 subjects. Student has 3 subjects. We select that. So we're going to select that, add this to the profile, add it to the layout. As we know, the layout gets created automatically. So we created one field which is called subject, which has got 3 values, and now we're going to create another number field. We're going to give the marks, right? We're going to call it marks, and we say 3. So we're not going to allow any duplication or require, we're not going to select any of that. We're going to click next, and we are going to click next, add it to the layout. And now the last field is now we have created marks field, student marks object with 2 fields, which is a subject and marks. So now we need to link it to student. So how do we do that? We have to create a master detail relationship. So we know the student master is a separate object, right? So now we are going to link it up like this one. This will be student master, and this is going to be student marks. So let's do that. So for that, we select master detail, click next, and now it's going to ask you what is it going to be related. So now you're creating a relationship from the child to the master. Remember that you cannot create a master detail from the parent to the child. The relationship is from parent to child, but you'll create it in the child object. Important point. So select student master 2. Yeah, we'll select student master 2, and we give it the name, same name. Actually it takes it by default. Let's see what it is doing. Yeah, takes it, no need to. So you can also give, like, you can give some permissions over here. If you want, you can also show any, if you add filters, or we're not going to do that. So we can click next and continue. So now relationship is created. Click next. and now it's got added to the layout. So now our relationship with the, we created a master detail relationship. Next we'll also create a lookup relationship. So here what is happening is, now from student master I'm also going to create a lookup to the accounts. So this is many, one to many. This will also be one to many, but it will be a very simple kind of a lookup. Like if the parent data is deleted, the child data won't get deleted. So let's look at this, and student master accounts. No, sorry, from student master. So that we'll do later. So we saved it. Now let's take a look. First of all, now let's create a tab for this particular object. So you see 3 fields I got created with a lookup. Let's create a tab and say new, and now we're going to create student marks. As you see, whichever objects have got tabs created, it doesn't show that. Only those without a tab will be displayed here. So let's select this. So right now we'll select all the same, take the defaults. So we are creating a new tab for student mark. Now I'm not going to include in all, I'm going to include it only in the new app which we have created, which is called as a my new, the last one, in which we have included the student master also. Alright, so this is done. So now if you see here, then you can create the student marks. So click on student marks, and as you know, there is only one student here. Now before that, we also need to see that, this is called as a list view. We know that we have one student. So let's create edit. Let's see all the fields. Click on the edit view, select all the fields you want to the right side, and save the view. Okay, now in student marks, so now we can see the, so if you go to this view, it's going to show you all the, now if you click on student master, if you see the layout, what's happening here is it has already added the student marks layout. So this is the additional configuration that Salesforce automatically does for you. You're not added using coding. So when you create a student marks, since you have created a master detail, Salesforce detects that it will have each record will have child record. So it has added that particular layout records to itself. Okay, so now let's add a student mark for Ashwin. So I'll say go to student marks, click new. I'll say student marks name. So I can select Ashwin from this, and it's going to be the same subject. I'll say chemistry, and he got 35 or 36. Save. So create new for the same person. Let's create max and say 45. Let's fill this up. So let's save this. So 2 marks records have got created. So if I go to now, again this is a list view, so you have to edit the list view to see the fields. Save this. We are good. So it shows you the marks. Now if you go to the parents record, you'll also see the marks over here. If you click on the parent record, you will see the child record. See over here. Now this is the layout. Now we want to change this master student layout to see more fields from the student marks. So how to do that is use the click menu, edit layout. Now as you know, this is the layout where the fields you arranged this previously, right? Similarly, on the left side, if you go down, there is a related list section. At the top, this is where you can configure your related list. So click on this wrench icon. It's already, suppose you want to remove notes and attachment, just click on minus. Activity tree, click on minus. Remove all the other ones and just keep student marks. And in this wrench icon, click the wrench icon, and now let's add some fields here. Subject, I want to see all of that in my related list. So that's great. I save it. So now when I come back to my student master, if I go down, see, I can see the complete related list here. Similarly, go ahead, pause the video here, and similarly create couple of more records for student master and student marks, and see the fields over here. And now these are actually student marks. So in the student marks, it is Now there's a small configuration that we can do. Now we have getting a student marks to name, which is an additional field here. Okay, so what we can do here is we can go to this one and sorry, we can go back here. Either we can replace this with the existing student marks name, or for right now let's keep it that way. Or we can just change this to a auto number. Okay, and say starting number 1 and just say save, and also change this to marks serial. Just change that name because we don't need that to be repetitive. So now with this, if you go back to student marks and we create new marks, so we don't see that particular field, right? So we just select the correct one from the, see now because of the master detail, it is letting us search for it. If you have more records, it's going to search for that. So now again more records have got created, and now if you see, the serial number is beginning to kick in. Couple of things here we can do is create some more student master here records, student records, say something like save. So new student got created. You can also see it shows the layout you create. You can also create marks from here for this fellow. Say 45, student master is Richard. Automatically it has selected that. So now let's create one more student marks for that fellow. So now if you see, if you search for this in student master, it shows you the names of the records. So now also we can see that we can further change this layout of student marks master to see that we don't see this field at all, this mark serial. So you know how to do, edit layout, and now you select the related list part in the edit layout builder, click on the wrench icon, completely remove this. So we don't want that, right? Okay, we don't want that at all. So we just save it, and now the master layout is very clean. Okay, so complete both of this, create the student marks, create those fields required over there, and then we can proceed with the roll up summary and cross object formula fields.